Cinéfilos, Netflix llega con una nueva serie basada en la novela gráfica de Frank Miller y Tom Wheeler. Se trata de Cursed o Maldita. Y el día de hoy tendremos la oportunidad, mi querida BECKA Salas de Fuera de Foco y yo, de entrevistar a algunos de sus protagonistas. Así que, acompáñanos.
Because magic runs through us.
Well, hello guys, thank you for having me. I hope you're doing fine. How are you over there?
I'm fine.
Oh, well, yeah, fine, thank you.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, how are you doing? Nice to meet you.
I'm glad to hear that. First of all, I need to ask you this question. Do you think you will be worthy to wield the Excalibur sword? And why?
Yeah, absolutely worthy of it, yeah. But the character, probably not at this moment, because as Merlin says, only those that are pure of heart can wield this sword without it hurting them. And I think right now he's understanding the world and understanding the people around him, so he can make the right decisions later on, hopefully.
No, I don't think. No.
Why?
It's too much power to handle. I'm not that interested in power.
Okay. What about you, Katherine?
Part of me wants to be, because I think you want to be that person that defies all of that kind of human norms, but I don't know how successful I'd be in wielding the sort of power. I think I'll leave that to Nimue.
Can you tell me, please, 3 things you like about your character and 3 things you dislike about Arthur?
Oh no. 3 things I like. I love where he begins in the story. I love that he's a young mercenary, he's trying to find himself. I also love that he's flawed. He has a lot of flaws and makes a lot of mistakes. I love that in characters because I believe them more and I want to love them more when I see them make mistakes. And number 3, I love that he kind of follows to understand how to lead. I think that's like a really great trait within him. He's not always the one that's like, I'm going to take charge, which is a lot of like male roles have to do that. And I think the great thing is he allows Nimue to be the leader that she is. I dislike that he finds it hard to be emotional in times because he's trying to keep this idea of who he is, which I think is a thing that a lot of people have. 2 more things I dislike. It sounds like I love myself right now. He loses a lot in battles. I'm like, can we get a bit more W's and more wins?
And something I find really interesting about your characters is that even though they are the protagonists of the story, they don't follow this classic villain or hero roles, like they do both good and bad stuff. Was that something you liked about your character, or do you feel the same way about them?
Definitely. It's always interesting when character has depth to them and that when they are paradoxical, as we all are, as people. And also I think like the old narrative of black and white and good and evil isn't as relevant today as it has been before, and I am a fan of that. Nothing is dichotomous in this world or in these characters, and that's, we're all struggling. Everyone has their struggle, and so do these characters, and I like that.
If you had to choose, who will you fight for? Will you fight alongside Nimue, or do you consider more like a red paladin?
Oh, definitely Nimue. Oh, I'd lose my life to be on that side. I'd definitely fight against the paladins.
If you were born in the in cursed world, would you like to be more like, would you like to be a mercenary, or would you like to be a conqueror or a sorcerer?
I would probably be just a nomad, a mercenary in terms of not to do things for good, but at the same time, just kind of walking around the world and.
Exactly. And now that you mentioned that, I think your characters are struggling like the whole time. Like from the first episode, they are in trouble, but they find the strength to face and overcome these hard situations. So in your daily life, where do you find this strength to face difficulty or hard times?
It's a good question. I think in this series, just talking for Nimue, she does face a lot of obstacles, and even from the beginning of the series, you see this person, this girl who's just so restless, and I think restless not only with where she is, but restless within herself. And I think she finds a lot of courage and a lot of strength in her love for other people, and in her journey and her cause for fighting for other people. And I think maybe in some ways I similarly kind of understand that. I think by myself, I there are moments where you may not be so courageous, like when you've got a, I don't know, you hear a noise in the dark or something. I'm probably a big scaredy cat, but if I had to do it to help other people, I can probably find that courage more.
Okay, and what about you, Gustaf?
I would say people, nature, and meditation. That's the short answer.
Yes, it's a good answer.
If someone created a legend about you, what would you like to be remembered for?
I just want people to say he was a nice guy who just wanted, much like Arthur, who wanted to do the right thing for himself and others.
If you had Merlin's powers for one day only, what would you do with it and why?
I would probably, I'm going to say a very weird answer and say I would bring water to drought-stricken areas.
That's actually great. It's a great idea.
So final question for both of you. Katherine, did you have to learn to ride the horse for this series, or they were using stunts, or did you already knew how to ride a horse?
I had very briefly because I love horses when I was about 5, but no, I had to learn horse riding, sword fighting, stunts and dialect all from the get-go, which is fun.
All of that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. A lot of skills, a lot of new abilities. And did you, I mean, besides of learning how to be drunk, your character Merlin, the whole time, did you have to learn any new skill?
Well, luckily, from my previous experiences, I knew how to ride a horse, I knew how to swing a sword, and I knew how to be drunk.
All right.
So I had done my research.
So it was easy for you.
No, but jokes aside, obviously each character is in either new work and preparation. And for me, a big thing was he's very verbal and very intelligent. And so I had to work a lot with the language, English being my second language. So I had to put in a lot of work to get the accent right, to find his voice, his expression, and get to a point where I could, play with the language, because that's what Merlin does a lot. He's manipulative and he's witty and he's smart, and he has the language is a tool for him, and I had to reach that level of security and confidence.
All right, great. So thank you so much, you guys.
Well, Devon, thank you very much for having me. It was so nice to meet you.
It was so lovely talking to you, and thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Stay safe. Hug from all the fans from Mexico.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Viva
you.
México.
Cinéfilo, espero hayas disfrutado mucho de estas entrevistas. Cuéntame si ya viste la serie, qué tal te pareció, qué tal te está pareciendo. Si llevas tan solo algunos episodios, déjalo todo aquí abajo en los comentarios y recuerda que aquí también encontrarás nuestras redes sociales. Mi nombre es Gaby Mesa con Z.